Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi Ibu Titu. Welcome Ibu.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Also we have Mr. Adisa. Assalamualaikum Miss Shafrina, our moderator.
Assalamualaikum Bu.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Our MC, Andrea Cleo, are you with us? Mr. Bayu, one of our speaker, are you with us?
Yes, with you.
Alhamdulillah, insyaAllah.
How are you, Mbak Sulistiawati?
Alhamdulillah, I'm doing good. And you?
Yes, of course, doing good.
Mr.
Another
Muhammad.
speaker, where is?
Mr.
Already
Muhammad,
attended?
yeah, it's here. Mr. Adisa.
Who will going to be MC?
Yeah, but still waiting for her. Andrea Cleo, are you with us? MC? Assalamualaikum Ibu Dr. Kusumaning Tuti, Head of Malaysia Bank.
Bu Sulistiawati, how are you?
Alhamdulillah. Thank you so much for being here.
Belum video.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bapak Ibu, audience, we are still waiting for MC Andrea Cleo. Alhamdulillah, Andrea is here. 1:01 past 5. We are going to start, inshallah.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon and peace be upon us all. Let me introduce myself. I am Andrea Cleopatra as Master of Ceremony who will host this event. Let's open this event by reciting Bismillah. Honorable guests, Mrs. Dr. Kusumaningtuti Sandriharmi Sutiono, SH LLM, as Head of Indonesia Banking School, Mr. Dr. Eric Wijaya, SEME, as Vice Chairman 1, STY Indonesia Banking School, Mr. Gatot Sugiono, SSE, MM, as Vice Chairman 2, STY Indonesia Banking School, Mr. Wani Horofianto, ST, MSI, as Vice Chairman 3, STY Indonesia Banking School, Mr. Muhammad Kabir Adisa, MBA, Lagos Zone 1, Chairman of NAZAS as the first speaker, Mr. Bayu Taufik Posuma, PhD, Zakat Researcher, Director of Scientific Publication and Strategic Information, Tazkiyah Institute, Indonesia, as the second speaker, Mrs. Sulistiawati SE MSI, a lecturer at STY Indonesia Banking School, as the third speaker, Mr. Holifur Rahman MPD, as founder of Sharia, Mrs. Puspita SE MSI, as Head of Study Program of Financial Management and Sharia Banking, Mrs. Alvin Nur Amalia SE MSI, as Secretary of the Financial Management and Banking Sharia Study Program, Mr. Mrs. Officials and lecturers who cannot be mentioned one by one, Management and staff of NAZAS Nigeria, Mr. and Mrs. lecturers and students of Tazkiyah Institute, our moderator, Ms. Shafrina Mahfud, as doctoral student at Airlangga University, Surabaya, student of Indonesia Banking School and colleagues we are proud of, and 638 participants from various countries such as Indonesia, Malaysia, Nigeria, Ghana, South Africa, Iran, Pakistan, India, Morocco, Taiwan, and Philippines that join via Zoom or YouTube live streaming. First of all, let us give thanks to the presence of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, who has given His grace and guidance to all of us so that we can attend this Zakat and SDGs international webinar. Due to the current situation, we cannot carry out seminar directly, but this is not a barrier for all of us to establish a relationship. Before we start, we will have a group photo session. To all audience, please turn on the camera. I will guide in the count of 3. First slide. 1, 2, 3. Next 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 slide. 1, 2, 3. Last slide. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. The next event, welcoming speech to be delivered by Mrs. Dr. Kusumaningtuti Sandriharmi Sutiono, SH LLM, as the head of Indonesia Banking School. To Mrs. Titu, with respect, we please.
Thank you very much, Andrea. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. With all respect to Mr. Muhammad Kabir Adisa, MBA,
Lagazon, Chairman of NASFAT, Agency for Zakat and Sadaqah, Nigeria, as speaker. Mr. Bayu Taufik Posumah, PhD, Zakat Researcher, Director of Scientific Publication and Strategic Information, Tazkiyah Institute, Indonesia, as speaker. Dr. Candidate Sulistyawati, SAMSc, Indonesia Banking School, Lecturer, ISF Researcher, Doctoral Student at Erlangga University of Indonesia, as speaker. Ms. Shafrina Mahfud, Doctoral Student at Erlangga University, Surabaya, Indonesia, as moderator. Management and member of Sharia Community Bogor, Indonesia. Management and Academic Community of Indonesia Banking School, Jakarta, Indonesia, especially from Study Program of MKPS, Sharia Finance and Banking Management. Management and member of NAZAS, Nigeria. Management and Academic Community of Tazkiyah Institute, Bogor, Indonesia. Management and Academic Community of Study Program, Postgraduate Islamic Economic of Erlangga University, Surabaya, Indonesia. Management and member of IAEI, the Indonesian Association of Islamic Economists, Jakarta, Indonesia. Sharia Student Association of Indonesia Banking School, Jakarta, Indonesia. All distinguished guests and participants, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, Jakarta time. May peace be upon all us. Salam Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, greeting of virtue. All praise and thanks be to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, the one true Almighty God. For His grace, we can gather virtually in excellent condition and health this afternoon. In International Webinar 2023 on Zakat and Sustainable Development Goals, conducted by a collaboration of 7 partners, consists of Sharia Community Bogor, Indonesia, Study Program of Sharia Finance and Banking Management of Indonesia Banking School, NAZAS, Nigeria, Tazkiyah Institute, Bogor, Study Program Postgraduate Islamic Economic of Erlangga University, Surabaya, the Indonesian Association of Islamic Economists, Jakarta, Sharia Student Association of Indonesia Banking School. Ladies and gentlemen, as we may all know, Zakat is a word in Arabic. It relates to cleanliness, growth, blessing, and praise. This form of charity helps to purify your wealth, increases blessing in your life, and gains you much reward. Zakat is an obligatory tax on every Muslim, designed to help the poor and empower communities. Zakat is interpreted as being obligatory for those who qualify as donors. It's practically a system of social equity that ensures that the gap between the rich and the poor is lessened in society. Islam relates zakat to sustainable development by believing that Allah created a perfectly balanced world on the basis of sustainability and circularity. Ladies and gentlemen, there are some studies and analysis that zakat can play an important role on meeting sustainable development goals, covering not only the issue of poverty. Why? Because the target goals of sustainable development have a long list, not only in reducing poverty, but also reducing hunger, unemployment, inequality, environment, climate change, and climate action, as well as promoting peaceful and inclusive societies. While Islam teaches that Allah created a perfect balance world on the basis of sustainability and circularity. This balance must be maintained by a man acting moderately, thoughtfully, and justly. Waste, pollution, and destruction are the very qualities that Allah abhors. On the environmental issue, Islam teaches its followers to take care of the earth. Muslims believe that humans should act as guardians or khalifah of the planet, and that they will be held accountable by God for their actions. Ladies and gentlemen, the study and analysis show the connection and positive relation between the two, zakat and sustainable development goals. But how well is the implementation? Is the concern of us all, and is the main discussion of this international webinar. A format of coordination and collaboration that support the important role of zakat in achieving sustainable development goals is a key for a success implementation. Therefore, on behalf of Indonesia Banking School, allow me to extend appreciation to the great speakers, Mr. Muhammad Kabir Adisa, MBA, Chairman of NAZAS, Nigeria, Mr. Bayu Taufik Posuma, PhD, Director of Scientific Publication and Strategic Information, Taskia Institute, Dr. Candidate Sulistiawati, SAMSc, Indonesia Banking School lecturer, as well as doctoral student at Erlangga University, Ms. Shafrina Mahfud, doctoral student at Erlangga University, Surabaya. And I would like also to express my thanks to the organizing committee, which consists of 7 partners previously mentioned, to all participants and to all distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi.
Thank you, Mrs. Titu, for the welcome. I will give the main session entirely to the moderator, Ms. Shafrina Mahfud, doctoral student in Islamic Economics at Erlangga University, that online from University of Warwick, UK. We welcome.
Thank you, Andrea. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Shafrina Mahfud, and I'm very honored to be the moderator of the discussion of today. I hope I will be doing good because this is my first time. But anyway, today the Sharia with Indonesia Banking School and Taskia Institute will present the international webinar in the topic of Zakat and SDGs with our speaker that have been mentioned previously, but I will mention again. The first speaker will be Mr. Muhammad Kabir Adisa, the MBA, Mr. Muhammad Kabir Adisa, MBA, a member of Nasrullahi Al Fatih Society, Mr. Bayu Taufik Posuma, PhD, Senior Research Fellow at Islamic Economic Studies and Thought Center, IESTC, Malaysia, and also the member of Indonesian Islamic Economic Expert. And the third one is Mrs. Sulistiawati, SEMSI, lecturer of Indonesia Banking School, a PhD candidate of the University of Erlangga. So before we get into the first presentation, I want you to know that we will have a question and answer session after all the presentation, and then you can easily text your question via chat box. And also we have the Sharia YouTube channel. And then, or just maybe just simply raise your hand and I will accommodate you, inshallah. Okay, so before we go into the discussion, and also the presentation of all the presentation of today will be shared after the all session. So without further ado, I'm gonna introduce you with the first presenter, which is Mr. Muhammad Kabir Adisa. I hope I'm said correctly. So he's the member of Nasrullahi Al-Fatih Society, and FRMAS, the Islamic organization founded in the year of 1995 in Nigeria, with the president of over 300 countries, mashallah, across the globe. NASFA Society gave birth to NASFA Agency for Zakat and SDGs in the year 2014, and Mr. Adis has been the Lagos Zone 1 chairman since 2018. And also, Muhammad Kabir Adisa holds a BSc degree from the prestigious University of Ibadan, UI, in 1992, and obtained an MBA from the Federal University Technology of Akure, Futa, in 1998. And he also have 20 years of conventional bank experience, and also the commercial bank in Nigeria named Afribank Nigeria PLC, Fountain Trust Bank Ltd, Oceanic Bank International Nigeria PLC, and then EcoBank Nigeria Ltd, respectively. His conventional banking spanned between 1994 and to 2014, and served in various capacities as head foreign operation, brand manager, and also internal auditor. He started his consulting financial consulting service with the Maras. How do I say this? Is this abbreviation? Marashza Ventures in 2015, and presently as the CEO. He's also the holder of master degree from Islamic Finance from International Center for Education in Islamic Finance in SIF, Malaysia. So without further ado, I'm gonna give the mic to Mr. Muhammad Kabir Adisa.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
I say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody watching us today at this international webinar. The topic before us is to do justice to Zakat and SDGs. Mr. Moderator, is my slide open? Can I share myself or you share?
By yourself is okay, no problem. Andrea wants to help Mr. Adisa to share his screen. Is it okay if you share by yourself, Mr.?
No problem. Bismillah. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, we see that. Yeah.
A'udhu billahi minash
Probably
shaitanir rajim.
put
Bismillahir rahmanir
full
rahim.
screen.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Once again, the topic before us is to do justice to Zakat and SDG. Therefore, us to find the connectivity between both. From the few brief presentation I've actually done, I've actually itemized like 5 sub-headings under the outline that this topic is going to take. One is the introduction, Zakat and SDG discussion, then the nexus between the two, Zakat and SDG. How are they correlated? Then literature review, reviewing past research works by scholars concerning the topic. Then how has Zakat impacted as a tool towards the achievement of these SDG goals? Then choosing a case study in Nigeria, what we've done so far, then conclusion and then recommendation. Without much ado, I said Zakat is a compulsory level, that is an obligatory charity enjoined by Almighty Allah on the wealth of wealthy Muslims. Once you have it has actually reached a threshold in a particular year. It is a third pillar of Islam, and Almighty Allah in general is several verses of the Holy Quran that we should make sure you practice this charity regularly. And specifically in Quran 6, Surah Tawbah, 60, Almighty Allah mentioned those that should be beneficiary of Zakat.
Excuse me, Mr. Adisa.
Yes, please.
Sorry to interrupt. Can you make it full screen mode? At the right below button.
White below. Full
Yeah.
screen.
Right side and yeah. Below button. Next to
I think the presentation needs to be full screen, yeah. It's not
Already?
button. No.
Let's go
Next
to the
to that.
kitchen.
Oh, I
Yeah,
should go to the
this one.
slideshow.
Jump, 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 jump,
Like that?
jump, 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 jump,
Are you
jump.
with me?
This boy can jump, 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 jump.
Oh, okay. Please continue, sir.
Is it better now?
Yes.
Yes, you see that.
It's better now.
Yes,
Okay.
it's okay now.
Sorry for that breaking transmission. Shorty said that Zakat is an obligatory charity enjoyed by Almighty Allah and unwealthy Muslim. That once you're wealthy, it's more than the minimum threshold, which we refer to as in the South, that you actually enjoy, that you must, pay the Zakat. It is a compulsory level, is one of the third pillar of Islam. And there are several verses that can actually attest to this, the importance of Zakat. And specifically, I said earlier that Almighty Allah, specifically instructed in Surah Tawbah, that's verse 60, that those that should be beneficiaries of Zakat. And if you go to that, Almighty Allah said that the harms are for the poor. I mentioned 5 categories of people: the poor, the needy, those employed to administer the fund, those who have just been reconciled to the truth, and those in bondage, those in debt, and the cost of life, and for the wayfarer, so it is ordained by Almighty Allah. So basically, And it's the one we want to have our next actually, which is the SDG, which is Sustainable Development Goals. It is not, it's an agreement by Committee of Nations that they come together in the year 2015. Basically, after the success of the Millennium Development Goal, they come together, said for there to be peace in the world, the following items, let's agree on it. Committee of Nations will now actually agree that they are committed to this, and there are about 17 items on this actually SDG. The first one is that the Committee of Nations agreed that there should be no poverty by the year 2030. And coincidentally, this first item also agreed with what Allah has specified in Quran 90 verse 60, that the first beneficiary of Zakat, actually must be must be the first beneficiary of Zakat must be a poor person. Almost has said about 8 beneficiary, and you actually agree with me that from this, sorry, seems that's mentioned. You actually agree with me. Can you still see my screen?
Come again, Mr. Muhammad Adisa?
Okay, all right. Yes, please. There's problem with actually connectivity. Yeah.
I can see your screen.
You can see, right?
Yes, I can see. It's still in the first slide, introduction.
Okay. All right. Yes. Yeah. That's actually because the network actually is having an issue. So, the next slide, just already said, Almighty has stated that the 8 category of people, that should be entitled to Zakat, and certainly Almighty mentioned the Fukara, which is actually the poor person, which incidentally actually coincide with as the first item on the SDG goal, which is no poverty as agreed by Committee of Nations. Then the second item is the Mosakini, the needy. And I said that if Zakat fund is well actually administered, to take care of the needs, which ranges from education, clean water, good health, decent work environment, will be meeting the SDG 3 goals. Above all, that is what you have known that all matter indicated that the first social ill that must be fought against is poverty. And stating in Surah 9 verse 60 that the beneficiary must be the poor person. And the same thing, the world leader actually agreed to the same thing, right? And I must say, it's not something that is not achievable, because by the time we actually will go to the history during the Caliphate, actually, days after the death of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and Umar ibn Khattab actually coming during his time, poverty was able to actually through Zakat fund, they were able to eradicate poverty. And also, during the time of Caliph Umar bin Aziz too, Zakat too actually, was being eradicated too as well. And from the literature, we're able to actually understand that there are 3 key factors that made that actually possible, right? Basically, during the time actually of Umar bin Aziz, that everybody actually, look at him as somebody who had worked tremendously towards making sure that Zakat take care of the needs of Muslims and those actually around them. There are 3 basic qualities that is displayed there, which include trustworthiness, local distribution of funds, and use of funds to develop productivity, as stated by Salabi in his book 1999. And in the same way, in this modern day Zakat administration, this can also be done. How? to make sure that all Zakat institutions, first, Zakat should be institutionalized, and all Zakat institutions should ensure that both corporate and Sharia governance is being adhered to. And we all know that Sharia governance ensure that in anything that we do, let there be there should be transparency, accountability, responsibility, trust, and honor of human being. With this will endure payers of Zakat, to pay much, and we will to have enough for us to meet this SDG actually goal. Briefly, on several literature actually work of previous scholars and researchers, what has happened previously to get the connection between actually, the connectivity, the nexus between Zakat and the SDG. I said Salabi actually narrated in his book that Zakat fund was used to eradicate poverty during the time of Caliph Umar bin Abdul Aziz. And the success story is on 3 factors that I've already stated earlier: using Zakat fund, distribution to the local environment, and they will use Zakat fund to build productive capability. Also, contemporary study shows that if everyone had to pay Zakat in particular Muslim country, even where that is not a Muslim country, but Muslim populated country, absolutely poverty will be significantly reduced. That's quoting Islamic Social Finance Report 2014. Going by the definition of poverty as defined by the United Nations, it says it's a denial of choices, opportunity, violation of human rights, dignity, lack of basic capacity to participate effectively in society. That is, whoever actually is poor, will the ability for that person to be able to think, because the person cannot feel. You have actually a lot of things actually to start thinking of. He can't actually clothe himself. To have a family will be an issue, which was actually why the United Nations decided actually to bring nations together. Let's be able to have to address it. And coincidentally, just like I said, it's concerned with what Almighty has ordained in the Holy Quran. And on the other hand, by researcher, that Islam actually defines poverty based on individual failure to fulfill any of the basic essentiality, that is human requirement of life, as stated by Makosi Sharia. Daru Riyah, which actually states that what first thing you should protect is your religion, your physical self, knowledge, the dignity of man. Then before we go to the mosque, which is Al-Mahalu. In Islamic actually history, it's on record that during the time of Umar bin Khattab, that poverty was completely eliminated. Researchers had confirmed that. I mean, 2004 and the rest. During this period, there were actually incidents where there was an encounter between the governor of Yemen and actually the market. The first year he sent them 1/3 of the of Zakat. Umar, being the leader of the Muslims, actually was rejecting it, that I don't expect you to send the Zakat fund to me, but rather give it to people actually in your area. That give credence to the importance of actually distributing Zakat from the area where you are actually got it from the rich over there and distribute actually to the needy one. Second year, half of it actually was greater, and the third year, by third year, immediately the whole amount was returned, that nobody was willing again to collect Zakat fund, and decided using the proceeds actually to do activity in the cause of Almighty Allah. And the same scenario also played out too during the time of Umar bin Abdul Aziz. The governor actually from Egypt said him to me, what does he want him to do with the Zakat fund? And in Italy, they said nobody is ready to actually to collect Zakat fund. And they said, well, whatever is left now, what you have muted to us, we used to buy slaves, set them free, which is also in line with those of our beneficiaries as stated by Almighty Allah in the Holy Quran. And another research work also by Homer, actually identify the Zakat and the SDG actually nexus. How will actually Zakat be able to fight poverty, which actually is possible? And having given the few literature, they want to actually domicile it. What happened in our country, actually in Nigeria? How has Zakat actually has been used as an effective tool to achieve the SDG goal? I must say earlier, for the benefit of the audience, that these sustainable development goals are 17 in number. But however, the first 6, that is actually the Zakat actually been actually, to address majority actually of it. The first one I said earlier is actually the issue of actually poverty. Going to actually the issue of Nigeria, I said I had to divide actually into both the northern and the southern actually Nigeria. That is only actually the north that we have Zakat being state. We have state institutions that are managing Zakat apart from actually individuals and faith-based organizations. I said in Nigeria, Zakat is mostly administered by a faith-based institution group also. But in the northern part, basically, we have state commissions, but yet to be implemented in the south, right? And actually in the north, they say we have 2 prominent institutions that take care of that, which is, we call them actually Zala and Jamatul Nursery, Unfortunately, Zakat donor normally distribute their funds between the 3 major institutions, that is the state. They distribute that to the state, to those institutions, and some still give to actually to Sheikh, prominent that people believe that they can actually manage, the wealthy Muslim believe that they can manage this actually, this Zakat fund actually on their behalf. They've made their own part. I said this Zakat institution made their own part in minimizing poverty rates, but their activity are not enough to eliminate poverty totally due to some factors. There has to be actually some actually rivalry between Zakat administrator, and at times the amount actually being given to the recipients, as parties actually in the north, at times, even in the south, it's not enough to fight actually poverty. The poverty that Omate actually has said that it should be the first to be addressed, and the United Nations actually expected by the year 2030 that there should be no poverty, that nobody should be said to be poor. And by the World Bank actually analysis, the last actually convention is that anybody actually living on $2 per day is said to be poor. I went further to say that in the southern part of Nigeria, the Zakat funds are mostly administered by Zakat institutions established by Islamic society groups, prominent among Nazars, Nosfat Agency for Zakat and Sadaqah. Then we have Zakat and Sadaqah Foundation, established by Muslim Congress, Lekki Muslim and the rest. There are others, the companions and the rest, but just to mention but few. However, there are some wealthy individual that still give their Zakat fund to Sheikh to administer actually on their fund. I try as much as possible to give insight into what they have actually done so far, how they've actually been able to try to see that they were able to address the menace. I think most especially, I think starting from the first one with the issue of poverty, because they believe that everybody believe, researchers believe, one might also believe for you to have actually make it actually the first item that once poverty is being fought and is being taken care of, the person that is poor will have the ability to be able to reason very well. The person that actually wants to actually be taken in the process of taking care of it, the person will have access to good education, good health, and the rest, in a way. And for the benefit of this, for us to know what we have done so far in Nigeria, I've already itemized what Nazars has done so far. I said in my prologue actually earlier that Zakat was formed in 2014. And till date, Zakat has distributed over 600 million, which is equivalent to about $1.2 million under the various, sub-heading: trade empowerment, education support, health, feeding program, provision of clean water through seeking of borehole and accommodation and settlement of bill. Then the Zakat and Sadaqat Foundation too, essentially also happened to be actually in the south. That foundation has been in existence before Zakat. They've been established in 2016, and in 2018 alone, I probably actually went to go and actually pick that, what they have done. In 2019 alone, they were able to distribute 610,383 in dollar, in a particular year. Out of which 167 actually, is distributed in Lagos, and the rest went to the remaining 20 states within Nigeria. And basically, because the target of every Zakat institution is to make sure that poverty, those in debt, and to fight poverty, You need to economically empower the person that is poor. You need to support that person actually with education. If you actually challenge actually concerning the issue of actually welfare, medical support, so that the person be able to actually to reason, so that the minimum goal, the sustainable goal actually will be met. And as much as possible to actually to display what we've done so far in Nazar, just few, so that actually we don't bore actually this international actually audience. This is a pictorial picture of where we are. Nazar actually is trying to meet, trying to provide clean water in the community in an attempt to actually to meet the SDG actually 6. You know, this is also trade empowerment by Nazar. You know, and our food and clothing actually disbursement, trying to meet SDG 1, SDG 2, and the rest. You know, to confirm the nexus, the correlation between Zakat and SDG. Then also, Zakat and Sadaka Foundation also in Nigeria. This is also a picture of where they are empowering people, you know, in the way to take them out of poverty. You know, they are trying to meet SDG 1, 2, 3. Without much ado, I must say, what we actually will show so far is just a brief for us to actually know to. There are a lot of activity that have been done by Zakat institutions actually in Nigeria. And in conclusion, it's just to show a few, so that we don't bother the international actually audience, that we could realize that from the disbursement figure provided above, just as a case study, we realize that 50% of the total of position is, you know, went to basic, that is economic empowerment or trade empowerment, as we want to call it, accounted for 50% for position, which is a pointer that every Zakat institution is out to make sure that poverty is being eradicated, hunger is being fought, and economic prosperity actually is being enhanced, which is variably. So if we are able to do that, as even practice during the time of a Caliph area, that within 3 years, you know, poverty is being eradicated. So from that, it is possible that we should be able to actually, before the 2030 SDG actually agenda date set, that Muslim all over the world, Muslim countries should be able to actually to fight poverty. Also, I also mentioned that there is burden on the health, which is in the bid actually to meet SDG 3. Then education support too, in order to meet SDG 4. Then seeking of borrow, as I said, that for us to take care of clean water and sanitation. Then I now recommended that for us to achieve this, because we must actually first realize that we Muslims are fortunate by for us to have been a Muslim, because some actually have provided how we are going to spend our ways, how we are going to actually to make sure there is peace in the whole world. And what has happened over 1,444 years, and UN just came just 2015, about 7 years ago, admitting and realizing the need that we need to fight this menace. And I said that if Zakat and Waqf are managed effectively, it will lead to meeting virtually all the SDG goals. As Zakat is taking care of the first 1 to 6, which have to be due to with person, then Waqf fund can take care of those that have to do with the environment and the climate factor. That is from SDG 9 actually to 17. And I'll give actually instances that Indonesia have taken a lead by being the first country to have actually issued cash wakaf actually sukuk. But I want to enjoin other institutions, Zakat institutions, especially Muslim actually women. We all need to actually to come together. Even in Nigeria, where we don't have government actually, you know, having a Zakat institution, this institution-based faith institution can actually come together and make sure they can even also come together for them to actually even actually, you know, issue also cash wakaf sukuk, because there are limitations to which only Zakat fund, and there is need for education or great awareness among our populace for them to actually to know that Zakat must be paid if you want to fight this menace. And that's a furthermore, that if Zakat and Waqf are effective tool to meeting the SDG, but there is need to be cooperation among Zakat institutions so that it will be easy to achieve this SDG goal before the target date by United Nations, which is 2030. And I said, for us to achieve this, as we have seen what happened during the time of Umar bin Khattab, and that happened actually during the time of Umar bin Aziz, that corporate governance and Sharia governance must be enshrined if we must achieve this. And what does corporate governance and Sharia governance actually promote? It promotes transparency, accountability, responsibility, respect for all human beings, justice and equity. If all Zakat institutions can ensure that all these things are actually being adhered to, this will not only endear payers of Zakat to them, there will also be collaborators from others, who are Muslim actually friend nations, for them to actually to partner with them. So as we see recently that United Nations and other voluntary organizations have been assisting to distribute actually Zakat. And I pray to all material that I should use this task for us all. I thank you all for your attention. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Mr. Adisa. It's very interesting, the presentation about the trade empowerment and economics for the achieving the SDGs. I'm going to move on to the second presenter, Mr. Bayu Taufik Pasuma, PhD. And before that, I also need to read out some of the information here about Mr. Bayu Taufik Pasuma, and it's very, very long list, but I'm going to try to be a bit quick. So Mr. Bayu Pasuma have experience as a manager in Al-Amin Makassar, and then also a graduate assistant in Econis UKM, and a postdoctoral research fellow between 2014 until 2015, and then now it's senior lecturer at the School of the Social and Economic Development, University Malaysia. And we have still a long list about researcher as the research center and then senior researcher in the Islamic Economic Studies and Thought Center, IESTC Malaysia, which he's still doing it until today. And then senior lecturer of the Islamic Economy at Tazkiyah University College, Bogor, Indonesia, Dean of Postgraduate School of the Institute Agama Islam, Tazkiyah, Indonesia. He also reviewer for several international journals, including the Journal Economy Malaysia, GEM, and then Journal of Management, UKM, which has a Scopus Index, and the several Indonesian national journal. At the moment, he also a part-time lecturer at International Islamic University of Malaysia, and also the member of International Council of Islamic Finance Educator. Without further ado, I'm gonna give to Mr. Bayu Pasuma we have the second presentation. Thank you.
You hear my voice, Ms. Safrina?
Yes,
Is
Mr.
my
Bayu.
voice clear? Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Safrina, as a moderator in this program. I try to share my screen first. Okay. My presentation already on the screen, you can see?
Yes. Clear?
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good day, everyone. Honorable distinguished opening speaker, Dr. Kusumaning Tuti, Rector, Indonesia Banking School, and this distinguished speaker, Mr. if I'm not mistaken, Basa from Nigeria, and all participants. I would like to thank you for joining us for this international seminar on Zakat and SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. And especially I want to thanks also to the committee of this program, Syariah, and also to Madam Sulistiawati, yeah, candidate doctor from Erlangga University, that has given me opportunity to be one of speakers in this valuable seminar. Talking about Zakah, we already know that Zakah is one of the 5 pillars, yeah, of Islam, and is a form of mandatory charitable giving. Sometimes, if we say the terminology mandatory charitable giving, sometimes I feel disagree with this term because the meaning is contradictory. I mean, zakat for Muslim is mandatory, but in other side, charitable is voluntary. But the terminology combine the two terms that contradictory is mandatory and charitable. But that is not the problem. Yeah, zakat is a form of mandatory charitable giving that has objective to reduce economic inequality and to support those who in need. On other side, on other hand, if we're talking about SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, are 17 global goals already set up by the United Nations to achieve a more sustainable and equitable future by 2030. Therefore, Zakat and SDGs is in line, very in line, yeah, very in line in the objective. Zakat aims to reduce the inequality in economic, support those in need, and other side, the SDGs also, yeah, aims to achieve more sustainable and equitable economic, social economy. And we know that our country, my country, Indonesia, is the largest Muslim majority country in the world. And because the country is a Muslim majority, so the country has a huge potential of zakat. Zakat in Indonesia plays important role in addressing poverty and to reduce inequality. So I think this seminar or my presentation wants to explore a little bit the current state of zakat, the development of zakat in Indonesia, and its potential for contributing the achievement of SDGs in the country. My presentation move or not?
Yeah, I was going to ask, is it supposed to be in the first slide?
I don't know what is the...
It's just the first slide, the title.
Okay.
Okay.
I would like to discuss first directly to issues on SDGs in Indonesia. Actually, we have a few issues around SDGs in Indonesia. Yeah, you can see on the slide: achieving gender equality, reducing equality, inequality, improving quality education, ensuring clean water and sanitation, and the last, combating climate change. Achieving gender equality. Although in recent years, many progresses seem happening in our country, but internationally, the global data still shown to us that women and girls right in Indonesia still continue to face discrimination in many areas of life. And these issues, including educational access, health access, and employment opportunities. And the second issues in economic, social economic inequality. In the last 5 years, Indonesia, according to GDP growth, also happening. Indonesia called by the global country. Indonesia called the most promises in the region. But despite economic growth, inequality remains a major challenge in Indonesia. For example, the Gini coefficient, is higher in Indonesia than still higher than most other countries in the region, especially in East Asia. And the third, improving quality education. Indonesia basically has already made significant progress in increasing access to primary education, but there remains significant quality of education. The challenges of education include lack of trained teachers, experienced teachers, and inadequate resources of education. And this challenge also access to digital education and education literacy. The third, improving quality, ensuring clean water. Ensuring clean water and sanitation. As we know that Indonesia has a lot of island, region, and huge fields. So access to clean water and sanitation remains a challenge in many regions in Indonesia. Water resources are still increasing, threatened by pollution and over exploitation. The fifth, combating climate. Indonesia is one of the most vulnerable. We can call it the most vulnerable countries to the effect of climate change, and is already facing extreme weather, floods, and drought. The country is working, or Indonesia is still working to reduce GHG emission, but more action still needed. Okay, Indonesian program in achieving SDGs. Basically, the government of Indonesia have many programs in achieving SDGs. You can see here several programs is launched by the government. Indonesia government has launched the National Medium-Term Development Plan, or RPGMN, in 2020 to 2024, which is focuses on achieving the SDGs. The government also has implemented the National Action Plan for Sustainable Development, which is outlines strategies, special strategies for achieving the SDGs also. And then the government has introduced the Indonesian Smart Card program, which is provides cash transfer to the needy and other benefits to the poor and vulnerable. And the Minister of Health has launched the Indonesian Health Insurance Program, or we call it in Indonesia Jaminan Kesehatan Nasional (JKN). This is also to provide a universal health coverage, for all Indonesia. And in terms of education, the Ministry of Education and Culture has launched the School Operational Assistance Program, or we call it bantuan operasional sekolah, BOS. This is to improve access to education or to quality education itself. The government has also established the National Social Protection, PNPS, which is aimed to provide social assistance to the poor and vulnerable community. In terms of environmental, the Ministry of Environmental and Forestry has launched the National Green Growth Program, or National Green Growth Program, NGGP, to promote sustainable development and green growth. The government also has implemented the national program for community empowerment and so on. Okay, move to the current development of Zakat system. In 2021, basically the Ministry of Religion is also has focusing here on improving the Zakat system in Indonesia. So the program is include how to streamline the process of Zakat collection, strengthening the management of Zakat fund, increasing the transparency and accountability of Zakat recipient. For that objective, the Ministry of Religion has developed Zakat information system, or we call it SIS Zakat, and Zakat mobile application. This application is both application actually provide detailed data on the distribution of Zakat fund and the recipient, and aims to allow people to donate Zakat directly from their mobile phones. This is expected to improve the access and convenience of Zakat donation in Indonesia. Okay, and then the Ministry of Religion also encouraging various religious organizations and business institutions to contribute to the Zakat system. The second, integrating social finance to commercial finance or commercial institution. Zakat, we know the instrument of Zakat actually one of social finance instruments. Zakat has been integrated with some commercial program through Zakat institution itself, or via profit-based institution like bank or SMEs. This program also very competitive to improve the level of living standard of the needy in our community. The third, National Zakat Index. In general, this index developed by Badan Amil Zakat Nasional or Basnas, National Zakat Institution, which is aims to improve the quality of Zakat management, so that the goal of National Zakat Management, according to the law number 23, 2011, Zakat Index typically includes a range of indicators, such as the percentage of the population who pay Zakat, Muzaki, the amount of Zakat collected, the distribution of Zakat to those in need, mustahik, and the transparency and accountability of the Zakat system itself. So by tracking this indicator, Zakat Index provides an assessment of the overall state of the Zakat, and can identify what areas for improvement in the context of Zakat. So in the context of SDGs, I think this index very useful to ensure that zakat is being used effectively to support the needs of the community and promote sustainable development. Supporting this National Zakat Index, our officially National Zakat Institution or Basnas also has collaborated with Central Bank and IDB, Islamic Development Bank, also has introduced, we call it Zakat Core Principle. Yeah, Zakat Core Principle. This principle cover 18 aspects related to the zakat management. Cover the supervision as well as the governance of zakat. Of course, this is in line to the principle of governance, GCG, corporate governance, good corporate governance that apply to, of course, to the zakat management. And don't forget, Basnas also introduced Zakat Literacy Index. Zakat Literacy Index. This index is a tool, basically is a tool to measure how far, high or low, the level of understanding of zakat that distributed both on a national and regional scale. Zakat literacy, because zakat literacy affect the people's intention to pay zakat and intention to pay zakat to the institution, zakat institution. So the realization of zakat will strengthen the influence of zakat literacy and the realization of zakat receipt itself. Currently, the latest score, we have the latest score of zakat literacy for national of the country based on year 2021 is 75.26, and this score is actually medium or moderate for literacy of zakat, in 2021, 75.26, the score, so the medium level of literacy. This is this score higher than year 2020, 2020, higher around 8.48, 8.48 points, 8.48 points in 2020. And the last, the current development of zakat, we call it zakat village. Zakat village, or in Indonesia, kampung zakat. Kampung zakat. The village of zakat, this program actually under our religious ministry. Under religious ministry. This program basically aims to serve the disadvantaged rural areas as part of effort to eradicate poverty through zakat. Therefore, if we look at precisely all this program, basically all this program is to maximize zakat services, zakat management, and government in achieving SDGs. Because according to the UNDP, United Nations Development Program, and the World Bank, zakat collection in Indonesia estimate to reach 4.3 billion in 2022. That represent increasing quantity from 2018 Yeah, when zakat collection is only estimated to be around 3.3 billion USD. Yeah, the increasing trend of zakat collection actually expected to continue as the Indonesian government via Basnas still working to make zakat more accessible, yeah, more efficient, and more transparent. Why zakat for the sustainable development goals? Yeah, why we call it zakat? Yeah, in line for the SDGs. I think this question already answered by the first speaker. Then I think no need to explain more. But in the context Indonesia, yeah, in the context Indonesia, zakat engaging with the SDGs, yeah, provide an opportunity for partnership and collaboration between government, yeah, zakat institution and the private sector. This partnership can help to increase the impact of zakat on sustainable development. Yeah, zakat also is highly aligned with the SDGs. Yeah, for I just give some examples here, not all the element of SDGs. For example, gender equality. If we're talking gender equality, yeah, zakat provide some programs, yeah, some programs like business capital access for women entrepreneur or family business. Also, zakat institution can give to the farmer seed assistance and agriculture infrastructure or farming equipment. Yeah, home industry development training and entrepreneurship training for youth, and so on and so forth. Yeah. Some of this issue, gender in related to gender equality, yeah. Why we call it the issue in Indonesia? Because we still see the data, yeah, so the discriminatory, yeah, practice in some communities in our communities, such as women may not have equal access to zakat fund due to cultural or religious belief, yeah, in part of our community. Of course, this restrict their involvement in financial matters, and also women may not be able to fully participate in zakat funded program and initiative due to a lack of opportunities, resources, or support from the communities. And the issue also include regarding the gender equality, bias in distribution. Yeah, bias in distribution. Yeah, maybe a tendency to prioritize men over women in the distribution of zakat fund. So this lead to unequal distribution of resources of wealth. Yeah. To address this issue and promote gender equality in the implementation of zakat, yeah. So it is important to increase awareness, yeah, and understanding of women's right, as well as provide education and training on gender-sensitive approaches in zakat management. Yeah. Additionally, the measure of zakat should be taken to ensure that zakat funds are distributed fairly and transparently. Yeah, and then women are able to access and benefit from zakat program and initiatives. Yeah. Okay, this is my slide regarding the issues of SDGs, yeah, related to zakat. And the second, clear water and sanitation. Yeah, clear water and sanitation. The construction of clean water refineries and sanitation infrastructure in our country there is a lot of number of areas still lacking clean water clean water and sanitation. Still minus in Indonesia. Also affordable and clean energy. We still need financial assistance of 300,000 and 50 for the development of MHP, micro hydro power plant. Zakat fund can be used to support renewable energy projects in variety of ways, such like financing the installation of solar panels in underprivileged community, funding research and technologies, maybe, or supporting small business in the clean energy sector. By investing in, if we can invest the zakat, clean and renewable energy, zakat can help to reduce greenhouse gas emission. Also can improve air and water quality, provide access to clean and affordable energy to those needy. In this way, I think zakat can play an important role in promoting sustainable development and addressing the global energy crisis. And the last life below water. This is also one of element SDGs, life below water. The goal of life below water is in the marine ecosystem actually. SDGs hope that the marine and coastal ecosystem can be protected. So zakat institution can contribute in realizing the SDGs is to create awareness of good marine ecosystem protection. For example, already implemented by Basnas by planting 5,000 mangrove, planting 5,000 mangrove seedling and spreading 15,000 fish seeds into the sea, by Basnas. This activity was carried out by Basnas and 35 members of the Mustahik group. Okay, what is the challenges in the implementation of zakat for SDGs in Indonesia? We have several challenges actually. For example, is insufficient data and lack of transparency, lack of awareness of zakat, and then poor administration of zakat, and then limited resources of zakat. Although we have a huge potential of zakat, but we still have limited resources to explore the zakat itself. And don't forget, we still have a political and social barrier. There are political and social barrier to the limitation of zakat, such as resistance of from certain religious and cultural group. Cultural group. Okay. This is my last slide for the presentation. What is the recommendation? Zakat for SDGs. Of course, we have to increase our awareness. The government and the community, and of course the zakat institution should collaborate. Should collaborate to increase public awareness around zakat and its potential to support the SDGs. This can be done through campaigns, workshop, seminar like this, international like this, and also don't forget educational institution programs. Second, strengthen collection and distribution. The collection and distribution of zakat should be improved also to ensure that zakat can reach those who need in most. This can be done by implementing standard procedure and utilizing technology to increase transparency and accountability. Yeah. Currently, we face the digital culture. Yeah. Of course, this is very supporting to distribute and collect the zakat. The third, integrate zakat with other social program. Yeah, this is also an important issue. Yeah, integrating how to integrate zakat with other social program. The government and zakat institution should explore the potential for integrating zakat with other social program, and of course with commercial institution like bank and SME. Yeah. This integration, I think, very powerful, yeah, to reduce poverty and to maximize zakat impact on sustainable development. Encourage partnership with private business institution. Yeah, the government should encourage private sector company, yeah, BUMN, bank, yeah, to contribute to the zakat, yeah, either through the direct contribution or through a partnership with zakat institution. Develop evidence-based policies, yeah. Develop evidence-based policies. The government, I think, should use data and research to inform their policies and strategies that related to zakat and SDGs. Yeah, this will also help to ensure the zakat is being used effectively to address the economic and to address how to reduce economic inequality and to support the needy. And the last, yeah, empower local communities. Yeah, empowering local communities. The government and zakat institutions should work together with local communities, with economic village economic communities, and so on. Yeah, this is also to ensure the collection and distribution of zakat effectively and efficiently according to the objective. I think this is all my presentation. Yeah, regarding the zakat and how to use zakat to SDGs. I hope you can useful beneficial use to your colleges and your people in your communities, yeah, to increase our awareness, especially in for zakat and SDGs. Thank you. Back to Miss
Safrina.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Mr. Bayu Kusuma. It's very, very interesting. I was really excited about the gender equality in the presentation. I didn't know that. That's a good point to raise. And I think more people need to also more aware of this one because normally it's just talking about the local community and then not particularly talking about gender. So it's really good point to spread the awareness that more women will be helped in the case. So thank you for that. Again, for everyone that already submit like question and all that, I'm going to just collect at the moment, and then we're going to discuss at the end of all session. So now I'm going to give the opportunity for Mrs. Sulistiawati, the lecturer of Indonesia Islamic Banking, and then also my we call it like university sister, let's say that. So without further ado, welcome. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. My voice is clear?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, moderator. A'udzubillahi minasyaitonirrajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Yeah, for the first time, I do say sorry that I have to inactivate my video during my presentation since the internet connection is unstable in my area. Sorry. Yeah. Also, I want to
Acceptable.
ask, yeah. Also, I want to ask Andrea to share screen my material. Please, Andrea.
Is it already shown, Ms. Sulis?
Yeah. You can make it full screen. Right? Yeah. All right. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Ya. Nahmaduhu wa nasta'inu wa nastaghfiru wa na'udzu billahi min syururi anfusina wa min sayyiatina a'malina may yahdihillah fala mudhillalah wa may yudlillah fala hadiyalah. Allahumma shalli wa sallim ala sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Amma ba'du. All praise is due to Allah. We worship Him. We seek His help and His forgiveness, and we turn to Him to repentance. We seek refuge in Allah from the evil within ourselves and from our ill deeds. Whoever is guided by Allah cannot be led astray, and whoever goes astray cannot be guided. First of all, let me greet our distinguished scholar, Mrs. Dr. Kusumaning Tuti, as a rector or head of Indonesia Banking School, and vice rectors, Dr. Gatot, Dr. Rofi, Dr. Erit, and also head of Sharia Economic Program, Dr. Puspita, as well as all faculty members that I cannot mention one by one. Very good morning in the afternoon. Second of all, absolutely, I'm delighted for being here. It's my honor to share my tiny knowledge regarding to Zakat together with prominent speakers like Mr. Mohammed Kabir Adisa from Nazas, Nigeria, and Mr. Bayu Taufik Pasuma from Taskia Institute, Bogor, Indonesia. Third of all, I am Sulistiawati, IBS lecturer. I do say thank you to Sharia community for having me as a speaker of international webinar entitled Zakat and SDGs. May Allah blesses this event and also blesses all of us, of course. Well, since Sharia community gives me a third turn to talk, I do hope that my presentation is matched with time provided by moderator. 15 minutes approximately, right? So I would not take discussion time, inshallah. Yeah. Next slide, Andrea. Yep. According to the theme today, I'm trying to deliver a subtopic. My own topic is Zakat and SDGs, overlaps or highly compatible. I'm going to start with Al-Quran, Surah At-Taubah, verse 60. A'udzu billahi minasyaitonir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. The translate is alms are for the poor and the needy, for those employed to administer the funds, for those whose hearts have been recently reconciled to truth, for those in bondage and in debt, in the cause of God, and for the wayfarer. Zakat is Islamic mandatory giving, as previous speakers mentioned, and one of the 5 pillars of Islam, the others being testimony of faith, shahadat, prayer, salah, fasting, saum, and pilgrimage, hajj. It is an obligation within Islam for all Muslims who are eligible to pay it to donate at least to 0.5% of the accumulated wealth or income for the benefit of the poor, the needy, and other beneficiaries classified as mustahik. As we know that zakat or alms aims to provide services, benefits, and improve welfare for those mustahik. The relevant Quranic verse states as Surah At-Taubah 60, as mentioned above. Zakat is distributed to 8 asnaf, we call it as that, types of recipients, the 3 highlighted being most relevant for the SDGs. As you can see here in the slide, it is an asnaf, namely al-fuqara, the poor, those living without means of livelihood. Also other asnaf, namely al-masakin, the needy, those who cannot meet their basic needs. And other kind of asnaf, fisabilillah, in the path of Allah, pertain to anyone struggling for a righteous cause, including expenditure towards the promotion of Islam and for all charitable purposes. Asnaf fisabilillah can also be related with the provision of basic needs such as health, clean water, and sanitation programs. Zakat has an important role to play in addressing the higher poverty and hunger levels witnessed in countries with large Muslim population such as Indonesia, here in our country for Indonesian. All right, next. Yeah. The picture is quite similar with Mr. Bayu's PPT, but don't worry, the focus is different. This is about overlap between Zakat and SDGs. There are some differences between Zakat and SDGs. The main one, that Zakat is fundamentally Islamic in origin, while the SDGs have no link with religion. Nevertheless, there is considerable overlap and interest among the took this from World Zakat Forum in 2017. I did write the 2015, yes, or National Zakat Board of Indonesia. There are SDGs and Zakat. Much of what is in the about poverty and hunger and reducing inequality, principles of Zakat. We have 5 fundamental. As you can see here, the first one we call it as with SDG 1, 2, 3, 6, and 10 on poverty, health. The SDGs are about reducing vulnerability versus they need and ensuring the institutions are entitled so that people are empowered to make choices in their best interests. And the hifdun nafs in Arabic language, this is aligned with goals 2, 3, 6, 8. Promoting well-being is essential to sustainable development. Goal 2 is about eradicating hunger and food insecurity and developing sustainable agricultural system. Goal 3 seeks to seize in different persistent and emerging health issues by tackling water scarcity. Yeah, also as Mr. Bayu mentioned, for water quality and inadequate sanitation to save lives and livelihood. SDG 8 ensures decent work and income growth for all, including the poor, while SDG 11 is about making cities safe and sustainable and upgrading slum settlements. Okay, go on to the third one is progeny or Hifdun Nasl. This is alignment with SDGs 3, 5, 7, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16, yeah, 15 and 16. According to the current trend, disturbing trends in the way humans destroy the environment, exploit natural resources, and are changing the climate for future generations, conflict within and between societies, and economic and financial crisis also threaten communities. The SDGs promote sustainable production, consumption, and protection of environment, while also look for ways to promote peace and stability. Right, the fourth one is intellectual, Ibdul Akal. This is aligned with SDG 1, 2, and 9. As we know that children need to have access to education and nutrition supported through enhancement of skill and capacities to increase local economic development. In Arabic is Hifdul Mal. This is aligned with goals 1, 3, 8, and 10. Zakat has inbuilt wealth transfer, which is reflected in goal 10 and of the SDGs focused on reducing inequality. It focuses on persistence inequalities within societies in access to health, education, and other assets. SDG goal 8 focuses on creating job opportunities and decent work for the. All right, next slide, please. Okay. After this, could be. Yeah. Yeah. Well, this picture shows several logos of Zakat institution. Basnas or National Zakat Board is owned by Indonesian government. Also, hundreds of UPZ. UPZ is Zakat Collectors Unit that spread out all over areas in Indonesia. Belongs to Ministry of Religious and Affairs, Kementerian Agama, Kemenak, under Dirjen Bimas Islam. Moreover, there are numerous private zakat institutions nationally and local scopes, yeah, such as Lazis Muhammadiyah, Lazis Nahdlatul Ulama, Lazis Nu, Dompet Duafa Zakat, Rumah Zakat, Global Zakat, and Al-Azhar Zakat. They are all together either in small scale collaboration or huge cooperation among others, do great mission that highly compatible in and in line with purposes of SDGs. For instance, Basnas has an important program to reach basic health sufficiency of Ummah. They have 4 branches of hospitals, Zakat and Wakaf based, that fully free for Fukara and Masakin. All health coverages are free, no exception. Yeah. The Zakat SDGs program is by Global Zakat. they implement such kind of semi-permanent and permanent shelters for disasters victims such as earthquake, floods, and so on. And other collaboration among them is a collaboration program that supports SDGs are held by Dompet Duafa, Lazis Muhammadiyah, Lazis NU, and much more Zakat institution. Okay, next. Yeah, this one is about Zakat is highly compatible with SDGs. Yeah, I myself prefer call Zakat is compatible or highly relevant or alignment with SDGs, not the overlap ones, because for instance, alleviating hunger, poverty, and inequality, promoting peace, and protecting the environment are central to the core of Islamic principles known as the Maqasid Sharia. It is in this case is for maslahah and falah, as I mentioned in the previous page. Some role of zakat, the helping the poor and needy, refugees and displaced people, and liberating those in bondage. Zakat thus aligns strongly with numerous SDGs again and again, as I mentioned, I mentioned above, it is about much more than mobilizing. Zakat have an underlying philosophy that embodies socially responsible development for promoting peace, development, and tolerance. Yeah, the last slide, I swear. Okay, the way forward. All right, the question is appear regarding to the way forward to make zakat as one of marvelous legacy in Islam. Besides wakaf and sadaqah, of course, it would be becoming more and more bigger in order to support and achieve SDGs. For instance, development partners among relevant stakeholders, I do agree with the two speakers previously mentioned, matching program integration between governments that in charge in zakat into SDG financing plans, elegant collaboration among SDGs, zakat and G20 agendas. In my humble opinion, it's a must for the beautiful tomorrow. However, perhaps you all are curious of it in further. I don't want to make it longer. Let's continue to discussion. That all from me, I think, Miss Shafrina, at a glance of zakat towards SDGs. Yeah, wallahu alam bisawab. That's all from me. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Back to moderator.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. It's very interesting presentation as well. I have my question myself. Okay, so we're gonna start with the couple of questions for Mr. Adisa here. I take note Jeffrey Prata Handoko, who raised a hand during the presentation. Do you want to start now, or should I list the question first? Jeffrey Prata Handoko, no? Did you raise your hand? Okay, I take as a no. Okay, I'm gonna continue with the first question for Mr. Adisa. Here we have Fatani Haji. She asked about how to empower Nazar. And then the second one for Mr. Adisa is coming from Vivi Sylvia. How the zakat can support SDGs and then also the economic growth for the other half of the Nigeria. Is it okay, yes. So can zakat support SDGs and the economic growth? That's the question. Okay, for Mr. Adisa, I'm gonna give you the opportunity to answer the question. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wassalamu warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
All right. Going to the first question is that how do we empower Nazir? The question now raised that issue of work with the Nazir. Nazir being known as the administrator of work fund. Basically, there should be standard operational guideline and standard as in quality of a person that should be appointed as a Nazir. Zakat administrator should not look at that being a social Islamic social fund. It is actually a business because it is people's funds that we want to entrust into the hand of some individual. Basically, such a person standard must be set that those to be appointed as Nazirs, whether as individual or corporate organization, must be those that are able to actually to display sterling qualities. They should have the professional competency. You know, they should have people that will make sure that transparency, accountability, and responsibility actually is being adhered to. So with this, that whoever is going to manage such a fund will know that it's a trust, and at the same time, it's also, apart from being liable to Almighty Allah, it's also liable to a man. It's being accountable that whatever it's going to do, you make sure that such a fund is being administered efficiently for the benefit of the masses. So going to the second question, which relating to that in northern Nigeria, so far that we have that Zakat distribution has been taken care of actually as income. What is the southern part actually doing? If you watch my presentation to the end, that beyond what is being done actually in the north, that the distribute actually fund to actually end poverty. Just display two activities of two prominent Zakat institutions actually in Nigeria. That is Nazars and Zakat and Sadaqah Foundation. That they also have different actually programs through which actually they empower the people, that is trade and economic empowerment. And they also under Nazars also display food and clothing day that they normally actually be able to do to people for them to actually to make sure that they take care of actually they are actually feeding as well. But we must actually agree that true empowerment, that and if there is economically empowered, such a person will be able to fight poverty because that person will have self-dignity. From the whether it's going to be actually the trade that should be engaged, he will be able to provide also basic needs. And such a person, after some time too, such a person actually will also be in capacity to be able to actually to pay zakat actually himself or herself. So basically, has been done in the north, also in the south. Zakat institutions, individual are also actually making sure that they distribute this fund. And I must say to also most times too during Ramadan, you see that we see the presence of the pioneers and the generosity of Muslims during that period as well too. And if you review actually my slide to the end, I have actually also commented that we have instances where even at times that money that gets to actually individual based on actually income, at times might be meager, which calls for the need for us to collaborate so that the amount being advanced can actually fight poverty. Then the third question is that how can Zakat actually support SDG? In my presentation, I've actually highlighted that Zakat is actually it's a necessary tool, to support SDG, starting from the SDG 1, which is to fight poverty. And we see from the presentation that from the various literature and activities of Zakat institution actually in Nigeria, we've seen that most have been channeled toward empowerment and to also support education, health, and the rest. which are part of the goals of this actually SDG. So conclusively, Zakat support SDG. And I concluded actually in my presentation that in order to, when we were actually addressing that Zakat, first of all, the 8 categories of people being specified by Almighty Allah actually in the Holy Quran, that if Zakat actually is being combined with Waqf, basically, we will be able to meet all the items on the SDG actually go. Because I said, well, the many SDG go actually deal with actually the environment, which is the area we are actually mentioned the issue of what Indonesian actually government has done by issuing the first cash work actually sukuk, for us to actually to have a proceed actually from there. And you know that by the time we talk of work, it's actually perpetual, and from the variant Indonesia also have that will actually make to that they also have the preparatory one. It is in a bid, to make sure that enough money is in Ghana to assist our Muslim needy ones. May Almighty actually assist us. I hope I've done justice to those questions.
Yeah, I think that one. I'm gonna move on to Mr. Bayu, if I may. Thank you, Mr. Adisa, for this, the question. For Mr. Bayu, is this one from Tri Mulyanto? Tri Mulato. Do you think that the 17 SDGs
Sorry,
component?
Ms. Sabrina.
Yes,
I think there's a question above Mr.
Adisa.
Mulyanto. Yeah,
Oh, sorry.
the question for me, I think.
Okay. Because it's not, I'm not sure which one for you, so I assume because this is an interesting question. You want to answer? Okay. So this is a good question, actually. Out of basically he asked, out of the 17 of SDG points, can it all be achieved through the Zakat instrument, and then which of the 17 of SDG points can be achieved through Zakat institution? I think the answer will be 2 days. But I understand. And then the second one also coming from Vivi Sylvia from the Syekh Kuala University. It says very interesting of the presentation, Mr. Bayu, and then this is very important to know that to increase Zakat is very important to increase the national income and can support productivity in the economic activity. My question is how Zakat can reduce poverty and can increase effective demand. And then another one, I'm not sure also for whom, to be honest. This is also very interesting. He asked Mr. Ahmad Mahfouzi if you want to speak for yourself and explain what you mean by this, that will be appreciated. But anyway, I'm gonna read the question. He said, in order to maintain Zakat proposes, which is in line with the 17 SDGs goal, is it needed to reinterpret Zakat substance, for the instance, as attempt to reconstruct Zakat from Tabudi and Takuli, or in another hand, should it be reinterpreted based on the modern realm or the current contemporary phenomena? I'm not quite sure about this. Maybe Mr. Ahmad Mahfouzi, if you want to explain yourself, I would be very happy. Okay, Mr. Bayu Posuma, do you want to answer all of those 3 questions? Thank you.
So many questions for me, yeah?
So many questions, yes, 3 questions, but it's a long question. Okay.
So which one I have to answer first?
Yeah, you can choose.
Okay, the question from Mr. Trimulato, I think. The question says that are the 17 SDGs component in line with the concept of zakat, and can all of this goal be achieved through zakat instrument? Yes, I can answer yes. All of this goal can be achieved through zakat instrument. Yeah, all 17 SDGs component truly in line with the concept of zakat. But the problem is, if we only expect zakat, yeah, to answer all the problem of the SDGs. What I mean is, zakat system should be work together with another system. Should work together with other system, with economic system of the country, with the other institution, social economic institution, and then we can say zakat, yeah, can answer all the problem of SDGs issues. Yeah, that is also I answered the question from. I think this is important question from Komarudin. No, from Fatawi Haji. I think. Yeah, Fatawi Haji. Yeah, Fatawi Haji raised the issue that zakat only function for a moment, does not lift poverty and does not raise education. There are some mistakes, yeah, I think regarding related to the understanding of zakat objective. Yeah, first we have to understand that objective of zakat not alleviate 100% the poverty. That is for sure. Not alleviate 100% the poverty. The zakat only can reduce. Yeah. I don't know the number of percent, but only can reduce, not alleviate 100%. How to alleviate the poverty on 100%? The zakat should work together with other economic system and other institutions. And the second, the zakat, the management of zakat, yeah, also must be surely good governance. Yeah, especially in productive zakat. Yeah, not only for consumption, not only for consumption. If you say that zakat only function for a moment, of course, only for a moment. If you take zakat only for consumption, but if you explore zakat for productive purpose, I think, yeah, can reduce, yeah, in the number of percent of the poverty. Okay, the next question for me is from Miss Vivi Sylvia from Sheikh Kuala University. Yeah, zakat is very important to increase national income and can support productivity in economic activity. My question is how zakat to reduce poverty. Yeah, zakat can reduce poverty. Yeah, if you use zakat for consumption purposes and for productive purposes. Yeah, and then you can explore the productive zakat to raise the standard of living of the community. Yeah, we have to explore the productivity of zakat to raise, yeah, the standard of living, not for consumptive, but also for productive purpose. Yeah, if you give zakat, for example, for capital business, for capital access, the mustahik zakat can use the zakat fund to make small businesses for their education, for example, and etc. And then the last for me, I think that's all, Ms. Sabrina. I think three questions.
There's one more is how to make what is the criteria to do zakat? Do everyone need to do zakat? And I think this is the question also for everyone, like how to make people aware of zakat. Like,
I think the question about criteria of Muzaki. Yeah, the criteria of Muzaki. According to FIC, yeah, a simple answer. The criteria of Muzaki is first Muslim. Yeah, every Muslim who has attained the age of poverty. Yeah, poverty. Balik, yeah, in the term of FIC, and owns enough asset is required to pay zakat, compulsory to pay zakat. And the second criteria is he has full ownership to the asset. Yeah, and then he has a completion of haul and nisab. That is a simple criteria for Muzaki. I think that's all for me. Thank you, Miss.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Adisa, do you want to add about like how to make people aware of zakat maybe for the last question? Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I think for people to be aware of zakat, the zakat institutions and also government managed zakat institutions should make sure that there's an enlightenment program, that should be going on from time to time, most especially in preparation for during Islamic festival. During the Eid program, especially actually during the Ramadan, that Muslims are perceived to be pious at that particular time. The enlightenment program should be going on from time to time. And an example of such an enlightenment program is what we are doing now, which is holding an international webinar to enlighten people, let people be aware, all over, people actually in the whole world know what Islam actually entails, what Islam actually says concerning actually, zakat, so that from time to time, people will be able to have information. This is what is expected of me, and once my works are attain certain amount, minimum threshold called nisab, I need to do this, and those importance of actually not paying it. That if you don't pay, this is what actually your punishment from Almighty Allah. And in actually, in your actually environment, those the needy that you're supposed to take care of, that your zakat fund supposed to take care of. If you actually don't do it too, there will be social menace and everything. And you now discover that the cost of providing security individually is far more than for you to be paying zakat, which among which is to take care of actually the needy one amongst you. So public enlightenment, jingle, webinars, and the rest are important actually tools for us to create that awareness. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Adisa. So actually, if I can conclude very short, that we basically responsible of this awareness of zakat, and then basically we have to work with the economic system and the government and all the stakeholders to have the zakat effectively and give impact to the communities and all that. So I would like to thank you very much for the the contribution and the time and for having this a very nice discussion, and I'm going to give to the MC to end the international webinar. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Ms. Shafrina. The next event, the handover of e-certificate to Mr. Muhammad Kabir Adisa, MBA, by Mr. Woni Rofianto, SD MSI, we please.
Mr. Muhammad Kabir Adisa, thank you very much for the interesting and insightful presentation.
E-certificate to Mr. Bayu Taufik Posuma, PhD, by Mr. Woni Rofianto, SD MSI, we please.
Mr. Bayu Taufik Kusuma, thank you very much for the interesting and insightful presentation.
Welcome.
A certificate to Mrs. Sulistiawati SE MSI by Mr. Holifur Rahman MPD, we please.
Miss Sulistiawati. Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Bayu Taufik Kusuma. And also thank you very much for Miss Sulistiawati for the interesting and insightful presentation.
A certificate to Ms. Shafrina Mahfud as moderator by Mr. Holifur Rahman MPD, we please.
Okay, for Ms. Shafrina Mahfud, thank you very much, who has guided this international webinar very well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Holifur Rahman. Thus ends today's webinar event. I, Andrea Cleopatra, say goodbye. Apologize if there are any mistakes. I wish you all a pleasant day. Thank you for attending this event. Let's close this event by reciting Alhamdulillah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Warahmatullahi
Thank you
wabarakatuh.
all. Thank you, Miss
Alhamdulillah,
Sabrina.
Rabbil Alamin.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Miss.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
See you again.
Waalaikumsalam.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alamin.
Miss Sulistiawati.
Okay, thank you for all. Thank you for speaker, for moderator, for master of ceremony, and all participants. Allow me to end this Zoom meeting. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.